After we experience a traumatic event, whether that be a long-lasting experience of trauma in our childhood, from developmental trauma or relational or attachment wounds, or whether that be a one-time kind of acute traumatic experience such as a car crash, natural disaster of any sort. Anytime there has been a traumatic experience, our bodies and our brains begin to interpret maybe other triggers or moments that feel similar. They begin to interpret any of those things as moments of unsafety, moments of threat, moments of fear and anxiety. And this happens at a nervous system level.
Okay, polyvagal theory, everyone's favorite subject. How
It is.
Thank you.
Polyvagal theory, somatic-based therapies, trauma-informed therapy, all of these look at the connection between the body and the mind, and specifically the nervous system.
In polyvagal theory, we know that the central nervous system of our body is in two components, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system has two parts. That's going to be the dorsal vagal nerve and the ventral vagal nerve. In polyvagal theory, we look at what they call like a polyvagal ladder, where we move through these different states of the central nervous system.
There are 3 steps on the autonomic ladder. So at the top is ventral vagal, and this is where we feel safe, we feel connected with other people, we can problem solve, we can be creative. And then the next step is sympathetic, and that's kind of the fight-flight portion of our autonomic nervous system. And in this place, we feel irritable, like our thoughts are racing, ruminating on certain thoughts and ideas. And then the third one is called dorsal, and that's kind of the shutdown place, right? And that's where you go to dissociate sometimes. The way that I use the autonomic ladder is to bring awareness to it and to kind of recognize, learn how to recognize and know for yourself what part of the ladder you're in the moment.
We can calm our systems down through self-talk, through giving ourselves some evidence that we're okay and the environment is okay. We can do it through calming our body.
I also encourage clients to, from a more cognitive place or for a more top-down approach, to actually repeat out loud, I am safe in this moment. Maybe repeating the date, maybe reminding yourself where you are. I'm in my therapist's office. You know, it is June 2024. I am no longer that child. I am no longer in that situation anymore.
When we are outside of our window of tolerance, that place where we're okay, if we're in hyperarousal or sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, we want to calm our systems down.
We feel that in our bodies with heart palpitations, maybe sweating, maybe noticing emotional distress or feelings of overwhelm or anxiety.
So breathing is one of the best ways to stimulate your vagus nerve. So when you can take a really deep inhale and then take twice as long to exhale. And breathing through your nose, if you're able, is a really important one.
Deep breaths in the moment, grounding strategies. We can place our feet flat on the ground. We can place our hands maybe on our chest, maybe on our stomach, any way to support ourselves and really feeling grounded in the moment. I often suggest to clients that the next step of this is to just be aware of your surroundings. So really almost consciously to look around, to notice the exits, notice windows, look at the ceiling, looking at the floor.
If you can visualize what each part is like for you, then then you can use that as a way to pull yourself out if you're stuck. There's a lot of like touching, tactile things that can kind of bring you back into yourself.
If we're in shutdown, dorsal ventral state, we need to enliven our bodies. Now this is a bit trickier because we're very flat and our system believes the world is not safe right now. So that could be through doing things that heat us up, warm us up. That could be through intensive exercise. That could be through a few minutes of increasing our heart rate. That could be through doing a deep breathing process that's not calming. It heats us up, it fires us up. So in yoga, they'll call that like lion breath. Each tradition has different ways for us to bring us more present into the world.
Is it possible to rewire my autonomic nervous system's function?
Yes, it's absolutely possible to rewire your system's autonomic functioning. That's the great thing about us as human beings and the plasticity of our brains, the wiring in our brains. And it's a really hopeful part of what therapy can bring, is that it's absolutely possible to change these things. One thing research has shown is that neural pathways weaken after 21 days of not being used. So you can see a change in brain connections sometimes as soon as a month if you're practicing polyvagal exercises regularly.
Our trauma treatment processes have developed in a way that at this point we really know some interventions that help calm, that help shift you out of the kind of grasping feeling that comes with PTSD.
All of these strategies of grounding and orienting to the present moment help support our nervous system to come back into the present, to feel safe enough, and from that place we can start to teach our nervous system and befriend our nervous system enough that this hypervigilance can slowly dissipate over time the more we build safety and resource ourselves.
Redbird Therapy.